Wrestling Review.
Hey y'all, it's time to get retro with Triple R, Retro Wrestling Review. I'm your host Troy, and yet again we're gonna hop on my time-traveling wrestling ring and head on back to 1988 today in Memphis, Tennessee. This one is some great old classic AWA action, and I hope you're all ready. I have been waiting and excited for this one all week, and when I booked it on my calendar, I had earmarked this one. I said this is going to be a great show. It's going to be a very fun show. I always love classic Jerry Lawler action. That's who we're talking about today, specifically Jerry Lawler and Curt Hennig, who some of you may know as Mr. Perfect from WWF fame. He was in the AWA, and today we are going to be watching along to two of their classic matches from 1988. Both of them are for the AWA title. The second one is kind of a rematch. No, we'll get into why the rematch happened and all that good stuff. But first, we need to take a break just to kind of let you know who's sponsoring us and tell you about my other podcast that drops on Wednesdays, Main Event Marks. But first, social media-wise, definitely follow us for the latest and greatest on Retro Wrestling Review. We are at Retro Wrestling Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also find us on YouTube. We have quite a few subscribers and watchers/listeners on YouTube, but we can always get more, and I would appreciate the follow on there, or the subscription, I guess. And I appreciate all of you who do follow us on YouTube. If you are watching or listening now, thank you. But we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be talking Jerry the King Lawler versus Curt Hennig for the AWA World Heavyweight title in 1988.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Main Event Marks is a retro pro wrestling podcast hosted by two lifelong wrestling marks and walking wrestling encyclopedias, Troy and Greg. Every Wednesday, we do a breakdown and review from a fan's perspective on some of wrestling's biggest and most forgotten shows ever, along with the industry news from that time period, taking you back in history to when that event took place. Main Event Marks is available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. Follow us on social media at @mainevent_marks.
Now, back to our program.
All right, we are back from break, and that means we are going to dive headfirst into our first match here. It is Jerry the King Lawler versus Curt Hennig, not yet Mr. Perfect. And I'll run down their backstories, talk about the venue, talk about the match, all that good stuff here in just a moment when we dive into it. But just want to let you know, if you want to watch along, the links are down in the podcast description. So you can click. This is the one labeled First Match. Or if you want to search for it on YouTube, the name of the video is just Jerry Lawler versus Curt Hennig. Total runtime, 46 minutes, 21 seconds. Because of that, we're actually starting 9.5 minutes into the video. 9.5 minutes exactly. So, set it on at 9:30 if you want to watch along. We're skipping the entrances and all that because there were big grandiose entrances and introductions, whatever, especially for the King, because he always did that stuff back in Tennessee. But when I say, I'm actually going to have my virtual personal assistant, Grace, count us down like I do every single week. She's going to say 3, 2, 1, play. And when she says play, we're all going to hit that play button at the same time. Here we go.
3, 2, 1, play.
Lawler's in the ring. The crowd is on their feet. He's holding his crown up high. People just losing their minds. This match, to get into a little bit about this one, Jerry Lawler put his career on the line for an opportunity to win the AWA World Heavyweight Championship from Curt Hennig. AWA, obviously, mostly, first of all, I don't know who that is with Curt Hennig. Some dude in a robe. It doesn't look like anybody I recognize. I don't have the audio on. I'm sure they say who it is, but I just don't know. Lawler is in the blue. Hennig is in the black and white trunks with the white boots. But anyway, this one, AWA usually took place, and there's Jackie Fargo. I guess he's I want to say he's the special guest ref, maybe? The fabulous Jackie Fargo. He's a Tennessee legend. You can see him do the Fargo strut there. That was what Jeff Jarrett actually ripped the strut off of him, not off of Ric Flair. But getting to my earlier point, I've interrupted myself twice now. The AWA usually stuck around the Minnesota and Wisconsin area, did a lot of stuff in Chicago. They didn't usually go all the way down to Tennessee, but Jerry Jarrett, who was still doing pretty good business around this time, not great, but pretty good, especially for a non quote unquote big league territory in 1988. AWA signed with them to kind of grow their business and just make the shows better. And they kind of had a working relationship between, I think it was still CWA. I want to say it was a Continental Wrestling Association and the American Wrestling Association. But the bell has officially rung. We are starting this match. Lawler in the blue singlet with the white crowns on it today. Lawler trying to go in with the punches. Curt Hennig is in fantastic shape here. He was just about to start his run in WWE. I'll get to that in a moment. This match took place May 9th, 1988. Here's Curt Hennig whipping the crowd up. Jerry Lawler, obviously going for Curt's AWA World Heavyweight title in Memphis at the Mid-South Coliseum. The event drew 8,000 fans for a total gate of $52,000. Now, going off of that, the Mid-South Coliseum, by the way, the nicknames for the venue are actually the entertainment capital of the Mid-South and the house that Lawler built. It truly was, because they've had a lot of sports teams come in and out of there, but Lawler always packed that thing out. It opened in 1963. It did close about 15 years ago in 2006. The capacity was 10,085. So it didn't hold a lot of people, but 8,000, drawing 8,000 to a place that only holds about 10, it's not bad at all. Curt so far has been on top of Lawler until there. There you can see his famous overselling. Lawler just shoved him across the ring and he rolled backwards right into the corner, as if Lawler had that kind of power. But Hennig's back to his feet now. Here's a little history about the venue. It's something positive here, but from its construction in 1963, the Coliseum was actually the first racially integrated facility in Memphis. So there was no segregation in the Mid-South Coliseum ever. So that's a nice little factoid for you. The arena was one of the few stops at the Beatles' final American tour in 1963. The group played 2 concerts there on August 19th, 1966, excuse me, not 63. In the wake of protests and boycotts of the band over John Lennon's controversial, more popular than Jesus remarks, Memphis City Council called for the cancellation of the concerts for safety reasons. The event still went on, although they were met by protests from the Ku Klux Klan. My word. An anonymous assassination threat against one or all of the band members, and an audience member exploding a firecracker on stage during one of the performances, which was initially believed to be a gunshot. Good lord. By the way, Hennig, if you're watching along, Curt Hennig just was walloping Lawler in the corner, just beating the crap out of him, punch after punch. Lawler turned it around, punched him right out of the ring. Wow. As far as professional wrestling in the Mid-South Coliseum, it was also well known in professional wrestling as the home for the United States Wrestling Association, which was what CWA turned into, was the USWA, and its predecessors. Jerry Lawler headlined hundreds of shows at the facility. It held weekly wrestling shows that regularly drew over 1,000 people from 1977 to 1991, 1970 to 1991. Among many notable events, Lawler faced Terry Funk in an empty arena fight at the Coliseum in 1981. On April 5th, 1982, Lawler piledrove comedian Andy Kaufman twice, ending a match between the two in disqualification. Kaufman was taken away in an ambulance. On April 27th, 1987, Austin Idol defeated Lawler in a steel cage, causing the audience to riot. I'll have to look that match up. And Lawler lambasted with a big ol' right hand. Curt Hennig dumped him between the ropes, but he brings him back in, goes against the ropes, and the manager tripped him, and Jackie Fargo tripped over Lawler, and there's Curt Hennig on top, but Fargo pulls him off. He says, "That was bullcrap. I saw that trip." Now Hennig's up shoving Fargo. Fargo says, "Timeout." And he's telling that manager to get in the ring. He's like, "You get up here and fight me." Fargo is a little man, but he just yanked the manager right in. Punch. Fargo's letting him have it. And there's a big atomic drop on the manager. He's holding his butt. He's flailing around, and Fargo kicked him out of the ring. He's like, "You get out of here." Wow. Fargo's yelling at him. He's like, "You're out of here, buddy." Like the umpire in a baseball game telling the manager, "You're out of here." Curt Hennig does not like this decision. He's arguing with the fabulous one. Not sure it's really going to go anywhere. Fargo is law and order here. That little dude. He grabs him, and he's shoving him down the aisleway, the manager, that is. He's telling him, "Get the hell out." And Fargo restores order. Goodness. That was a long, drawn-out segment there. Just to get the manager out. But they had to give Fargo something to do. He is a legend. Excuse me. The Fargo family as a whole are legends in Memphis, so the crowd's feeling it. They love Jackie Fargo. They love them some Jerry Lawler, obviously. To finish off about the wrestling in this arena, World Championship Wrestling also held several events at the Coliseum over the course of 1996 through 2000. This was not the big arena in the area, so I think that's why WCW went there. They usually went to the mid-sized arenas in town. For instance, WWF always, if they would come to Dayton, they would go to the Nutter Center, whereas WCW always went to the Hara Arena. And the Hara was always the big one. There were some venues where I think both WCW and WWE both ran what was the US Bank Arena in Cincinnati. That was kind of unavoidable because there was really only one venue down there. And, you can't completely block somebody out. Fargo's telling Hennig to watch the hair. Quit pulling the hair. Yeah, so no NBA teams that I can see played here, by the way. The Indiana Pacers were there when they were Okay, maybe they were a part of the NWA at the time, or the NBA, excuse me, at the time. But it was mostly an ABA, American Basketball Association, arena for the Memphis Pros. After the New Orleans Buccaneers moved upriver to Memphis in 1971, the Memphis Pros struggled in their first season. Wow. Didn't know any of that was a thing. The New Orleans Buccaneers, huh? I guess in 2016, an assessment found that a renovation and restoration of the Coliseum, including ADA compliance, would cost about $23.8 million in 2018. In 2018, a group known as the Coliseum Coalition was formed to pursue the preservation of the facility as part of the redevelopment of the Memphis Fairgrounds into a youth sports complex. Basically, it's not up and running anymore. They tried. I think it's shut down. I don't believe they did not tear it down. And I guess they basically made it a tourist destination kind of thing, or I don't know if you want to call it a destination, but either way. Getting into a little bit about the wrestlers at hand here, we got a waistlock from Curt Hennig on Jerry Lawler. Here's something I am today years old when I learned. Jerry Lawler, Jerry is actually just Jerry. It's not Gerald. It's just Jerry. And his middle name is O'Neill. So he is Jerry O'Neill Lawler. Alright then. But he was born November 29th, 1949. He's been married 3 times. His last divorce was in 2003 to Stacy Carter, a.k.a. The Cat, as some of you may know. He has 3 children, including Brian Christopher, who unfortunately passed away a few years ago, supposedly to suicide. And the Honky Tonk Man is his cousin. I don't know if some of you knew that or not. He's 6 feet tall, 243 pounds. He was born in Memphis, Tennessee. Born and raised in Memphis. And he was actually trained by Jackie Fargo, by the way, and he debuted in 1970. So that is the King. He worked for the Continental Wrestling Association from 77 to 89. In the AWA from 82 to 85 and 87 to 88 again. World Class Championship Wrestling, he was there for about a year from 88 to 89. He did some other work around the country. The USWA, he was there from 89 to 97 when it shut down. And he was with the WWF, obviously, from 92 to 2001. The USWA was it was basically early farm territory for the WWF. They had a lot of, The Rock wrestled there, Kurt Angle, I believe, wrestled there. They had a lot of young talents go down there. Oh, Lawler tried with a Tennessee Jam off the top rope, and he failed. And now Curt Hennig is doing work on the back. Lawler still wrestles, as far as I know, by the way, sporadically. If you look at the, there's a Boston Crab on Lawler. He's working the back. He's hard working the back on Jerry Lawler here. After Lawler, there was no water in the pool, so to speak. And he missed that Tennessee Jam. But the personal life section of Jerry Lawler's Wikipedia page is quite lengthy. The one thing I just wanted to mention was that he spent most of his life in Memphis, he did spend a part of his childhood in Ohio after his father was transferred to a Ford Motor Company assembly plant in Lorain, Ohio. From the ages of 7 to 15, his family resided in the city of Amherst, Ohio, a suburb near Cleveland. Though this stay was brief, it would have an influence on Lawler throughout his life thereafter. He often cites Cleveland as his second favorite city, behind only Memphis, and is a diehard fan of the Cleveland Indians, Cleveland Browns, and Cleveland Cavaliers. When WWE performs in Cleveland, Lawler will usually wear a Browns jersey or an Indians jersey. At SummerSlam 1996, he teased Browns fans by wearing a Baltimore Ravens jersey because the original Browns moved to Baltimore and became the Ravens. There's a lot of... Look, the personnel moved, the team didn't move, so... But I know he was doing that to get heat, but I could never do that. I could have never brought myself to wear a Ravens jersey, ever, for any reason, even getting heat. But during the baseball season, he will throw out the first pitch at an Indians game on occasion. So... that's a little factoid about Lawler for you there. I'm sure most of you knew that. Some of you do. Oh, that's an innovative way to get out of a sleeper hold. Lawler is rolling them between the middle and top ropes outside of the ring, but Hennig won't let go. Now he's slammed Lawler face first into the ring post, and then he literally front rolls back into the ring. Hennig has mostly been in control here. Fargo's checking on Lawler, seeing if he's still good to go after clunking his head on the ring post. Lawler, by the way, is a collector of Coca-Cola and Superman merchandise and owns a replica of the Batmobile from the 1960s Batman series. That's a crazy one. I did not know that about him, but there you go. The Browns thing I knew about for a while. He's talked about it openly and wore Browns jerseys and whatnot, but there were a couple times in Cleveland where he, The Miz, and Dolph Ziggler, and when he was still there, EC3, would go to Browns games together. Because all four of them were Browns fans. The Miz, obviously from Cleveland. Dolph Ziggler is from the area around there. I don't know exactly where. I know he went to the University of Akron, which is not by Cleveland, by the way. That's a different part of the state. Lawler's trying to get back in the ring, but he can't even stand here, and Hennig just punching him right in the face. Lawler is a holy hell on wheels. The AWA had the Southern Heavyweight Championship, which was basically like they just gave that to the CWA. They said, here, you need a main championship down there. So instead of being a part of the NWA, the CWA was kind of did their stuff with AWA. Oh, here's Lawler firing up. He's firing up after punches. He's kinging up. And there you go. He's not going down. He pulled down the strap and he punches. And there's another right hand. And another right hand to Hennig. He's on spaghetti legs. Punching him again. And Hennig just shoulder blocked him right in the gut. Lawler's still just hanging on. He's not in the ring yet. He's about to fall on the hard concrete. Oh, he was barely hanging on. And Hennig put his boot out and kicked him right in the face, knocking him down hard on the concrete. Goodness gracious. What I was saying holy hell about, by the way, with the Southern Heavyweight Championship is Lawler is a 58th-time Southern Heavyweight Champion. That's just crazy. He's a 10-time Southern Tag Team Champion. He won the title once with Jimmy Valiant, 3 times with Bill Dundee, once with the Mongolian Stomper, once with Joe LeDuc, once with Austin Idol, once with Plowboy Frazier, oh, good lord, and once with Big Bubba. Big Bubba was Fred Ottman, by the way, a.k.a. Typhoon / Tugboat. Hard chop by Curt Hennig, sending Lawler against the ropes. Irish whip, and there's a clothesline. Boot in the face of Lawler. Cover, and Fargo's arguing something about it. I think he said he used a closed fist or something. I don't know what it was. But he wouldn't count the pinfall for some reason. Lawler, I can't tell if he's bleeding because of the quality of the video. But I would assume he's bleeding at this point. It's career versus title. Lawler loses, he's not champ anymore, and Hennig sends Lawler just careening into Jackie Fargo. Fargo's down, pile driver from Hennig onto Lawler. He pile drove Lawler, Fargo's over. 1, 2, no! Kick out by the King. The crowd is electric. Also, Lawler is a 1-time AWA World Heavyweight Champion and a 2-time AWA World Tag Team Champion with Bill Dundee. He held quite a few other titles. 1-time CWA World Heavyweight Champion, 3-time International Heavyweight Champion. He won their 1988 Lord of the Ring tournament. He's a 1-time CWA Heavyweight Champion, not World Heavyweight Champion, just generic Heavyweight Champion, I guess. 2-time Tag Team Champion, once with Austin Idol, once with Tommy Rich. 3-time Mid-America Heavyweight Champion. Boy. And a 7-time Southern Heavyweight Champion, which was that's the NWA Southern Heavyweight Champion. It's the Memphis version of it. There's a double down, by the way. Lawler just cracked Hennig in the head. There's a cover. 1, 2. No! Hennig gets a shoulder up. If you just go through all the stuff that Lawler, all these titles that Lawler has won, it's honestly incredible. He won Feud of the Year in 1992 from Pro Wrestling Illustrated. It was him and Jeff Jarrett versus the Moondogs. He won Feud of the Year in 93 for his feud with Bret Hart in the WWF. Hennig dropping the elbow, and a cover. And Fargo, he claims that he pulled the hair of Lawler, so he's not going to make the count. Jackie Fargo's a horrible referee, I'm just going to say. He's just the pits. Punch in the face by Hennig. He's got the arm and hook, he's going to go for a suplex. He's gonna suplex, center of the ring, float over into a pin. 1, 2. Jackie Fargo also counts really slow. There was a kick out by Lawler. Lawler won Most Hated Wrestler of the Year in 93 and 95. Cool. I don't know if I would have picked those years, but I mean, maybe. Most Inspirational Wrestler of the Year in 1988 and 2012. I don't know why 4 in 1988. 2012 was definitely when he had his heart attack and then came back. And he almost died on live television on Monday Night Raw. There's a sleeper hold right here on Lawler from Hennig. Okay, here's my problem, by the way, with the Most Inspirational Wrestler of the Year. They show who won, runner-up, second runner-up, third runner-up. They don't tell why. So there's not really explaining what happened. He was ranked number 7 in the 500 top singles wrestlers in the PWI 500 in 92. He was ranked number 23 in the 500 top singles wrestlers in 2003. He was ranked number 56 in the top 100 top tag teams in the PWI years with Bill Dundee in 2003. The PWI years, I don't know. I think it's like a retrospect. That's why he won 23 in the top singles wrestlers and 56 in the top tag teams. So it's not like of the year 2003. I think it was a look back. So here we got he's cranking the sleeper hold is Curt Hennig, but he's up on the shoulders. Lawler's walking around with the full weight of Curt Hennig on his shoulders right here and rammed him face first into the corner. Oh, he bent down and rammed him face first in the corner. That broke it. And Hennig flopped face first. And now he's back up and chopped a Lawler. And just beating on Lawler in the corner here. And pulling him out, punching him in the face. And Fargo's backing him up. He's checking on Lawler. Like I said, I can't tell if he's bleeding or not because the video quality is such. He's hammering on him again. I think he is. Yeah, he is bleeding on the right side of his face. And he keeps going in and hammering on him in the corner. For as strict and weird as Fargo has been, I can't believe he's like allowing him to continuously go in with a closed fist and just punch him right in the eyebrow. And Lawler firing back with a big punch, knocking him on his butt. Now he's got the legs. And he's gonna slingshot him face first into the corner. And both men are down, but Lawler is trying to get back up here. 1, 2, 3. That's 3. He slingshotted him into the corner face first, and then he pinned him. That was it. Lawler wins. The crowd is electric. They're on their feet. Man. That was a pretty good match. It was mostly a brawl, but in all honesty, most of Lawler's matches were brawls. It was dramatic brawls, is what it was. The lights are on in the arena, so you can see all the crowd, all 8,000 of them on their feet. There's Jeff Jarrett in the ring with Lawler. They're hoisting him up. Kind of. They don't get him up very high. Then again, most of them aren't very tall. There's Bill Dundee, Jeff Jarrett. And one guy almost looks like Tom Zink. It's a hell of a mullet, I'll tell you. They're holding him up with the AWA World Heavyweight Championship. Almost look like Bill Apter on the ring apron there. It might be Bill Apter, to be honest with you. But he's celebrating. He's won. Wow. So there you go. Jerry the King Lawler, AWA World Heavyweight Champion. He put his career on the line in the Memphis Coliseum, or Mid-South Coliseum. There's Jerry Jarrett in the back. Well, you know. Lawler is champion, everybody. Give him the praise. Just to wrap this up here, because I want to talk more about Curt Hennig in the next video. I was purposely getting the Lawler stuff out of the way with this one, so we could talk about more Curt Hennig in the next video. The next match that we're going to talk about is, as far as Wrestling Observer Newsletter, he won Best Color Commentator of the Year, in 95 and 96. Feud of the Year in 87. against Austin Idol and Tommy Rich. Feud of the Year in 92 with Jeff Jarrett versus the Moondogs. Feud of the Year in 93 against Bret Hart. Worst Feud of the Year in 94 against Doink the Clown. Let's see. Worst Television Announcer in 2002. Worst Worked Match of the Year in 1994 with Sleazy, Queasy, and Cheesy versus Clowns R Us at Survivor Series. I don't know if anybody remembers that one, where it was Jerry Lawler and Doink, and on their Survivor Series teams were three little people. On Lawler's team, like I said, it was Sleazy, Queasy, and Cheesy, all dressed like the King. And on Doink's side, it was like Dink, Pink, and Dink, or I can't even, Dink, Pink, and Stink, or something like, I can't even remember. But they all had those kind of names, and they were just little clowns in different colored wigs. He also was inducted into the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Hall of Fame in 2006, or whatever that's worth. Yeah, so. Alright, well, that wraps this one up. Everybody's happy for Jerry the King Lawler. He's celebrating on his way out of the arena. We're going to get a lot of interviews after this. Curt Hennig is beside himself. As you can see, Jerry Lawler sitting in the locker room being interviewed by Lance Russell.
It occurs to me that we've watched you from the front end, and it's been a 14-year quest for this World Heavyweight title. It has been a dream and an obsession with you. Can you put it into words how it feels now to finally be the World Champion?
Lance, it's something that I guess probably 1,000 times throughout those 14 years, I've thought about what I would say in this situation, what it would feel like to hear you, Lance Russell, call me the World Heavyweight Champion, and what I would feel like and what I would say, and now that it actually happens, and I'm sitting here with the World Heavyweight Championship belt in my hands. It's something I don't even know if I can put it into words, because it's like it's like the realization of a dream. It's like a lifelong quest, climbing a mountain that you thought you'd never get to the top of, and then finally realizing, here I am on top of that mountain.
And we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back on the other side of this, it's actually going to be the rematch between Jerry the King Lawler and Curt Hennig. It's for the AWA World Heavyweight Championship yet again. We'll talk about it on the other side of this here break.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Main Event Marks is a retro pro wrestling podcast hosted by two lifelong wrestling marks and walking wrestling encyclopedias, Troy and Greg. Every Wednesday, we do a breakdown and review from a fan's perspective on some of wrestling's biggest and most forgotten shows ever, along with the industry news from that time period, taking you back in history to when that event took place. Main Event Marks is available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. Follow us on social media at @main-event_marks.
Now, back to our program.
Hello everyone, we are back for our second and final match of the show. This one is also Jerry Lawler versus Curt Hennig. You can either, if you want to watch along, the link is down in the podcast description labeled second match, or if you want to search for it on YouTube, it's labeled Jerry the King Lawler versus Curt Hennig, and in parentheses, it's 07-16-1988. So we are going to be watching that one. This was not in the same location as the last one, but it is the rematch between these two for the AWA title after Lawler beat Hennig for it in the last match. We are going to get into that, but we are starting at 1.5 minutes, so 1:30. We're starting there. The total time of the video, 20 minutes, 43 seconds. and I'm going to have my personal virtual assistant, Grace, count us down from 3, 2, 1, play. When she says play, everybody hit that play button.
3, 2, 1, play.
Lawler this time in the black and white. He sort of matches what Hennig's wearing here. Hennig wore the black trunks with white design on the back of them. Eventually, he would get a singlet kind of with that design on the back of it, like a triangle coming down in the back. He's wearing white boots, black knee pads. Curt, by the way, was accompanied to the ring by Medusa Michelli, who was in the AWA at this time as well. This one is not a special guest referee. We actually get a regular referee for this one, explaining the rules to him. And there's Curt with a shove to start everything off. And the ref calls for the bell. Ding, ding, ding. Here we go. This match took place, as you can see in the video description name, July 16th, 1988, in Las Vegas, Nevada. Jerry Lawler was defending the AWA title this time against former champion Curt Hennig. This was shortly. There's a shot of Medusa there. She's in a sort of like band leader outfit, sort of. I don't know how to describe it, but Lawler had defeated Hennig in Memphis for the championship, and this is the TV rematch on ESPN in Las Vegas. Hennig had one foot out the door at this point, headed for the greener pastures in New York, the WWF. There's a missed elbow drop by Hennig. The fans at ringside are digging this one. I'll get into all that here, kind of some stuff about Curt here in a bit. He was in the WWF from 81 to 83, but he was just Curt Hennig. His first victory was against Johnny Rodz. He established himself as a promising young performer against the likes of Playboy, Buddy Rose, Greg Valentine, and Killer Khan. Eventually, he was paired up in a tag team matches, with another young upstart, Eddie Gilbert, himself the son of wrestling legend Tommy Gilbert. So, second-generation wrestlers. And then he went to Pacific Northwest Wrestling, which I believe was the Portland, Oregon territory. And then he went to the AWA for a second time from 83 to 88, because he was in AWA from 1980 to 82. And this was before his big return to the WWE, where he started his big undefeated streak. It says in mid-1988 at WrestleFest, he wrestled Terry Taylor. He actually made his television in-ring debut as Mr. Perfect on a September 11th episode of All American Wrestling. So he was about 2 months out here from going to the WWF. So that's cool that he was able to put over Lawler so strong on his way out of the territory. He was born Curtis Michael Hennig, March 28th, 1958. He, as you may know, he was mostly known as Mr. Perfect, but he was Curt Hennig. He was the son of legendary wrestler Larry the Axe Hennig. He's the father of Curtis Axel, Joe Hennig, whatever you want to call him. He actually made his in-ring debut in 1980 and won multiple championships in both Pacific Northwest Wrestling and the AWA during the decade. He defeated Nick Bockwinkel for the AWA World title in 1987, and he had a 373-day reign, being the 7th longest in history. That's pretty cool that's the 7th longest in history. By the way, Hennig flopped right out of the ring between the ropes. What just happened here, I was talking over, was Hennig had Lawler in the corner, lambasting him, just punch, punch, punch. And then you see Medusa's looking really good in that outfit, by the way. She's all dolled up here for this one. Yeah, but he was punching away at Lawler in the corner. Lawler came back with a big old punch and sent Hennig flopping between the ropes and falling outside the ring. Hennig, by the way, was trained by his father, Larry, and also by Vern Gagne. And like I said, he debuted in 1980, January 30th of 1980, by the way. He was 6'3", 257 pounds. He has 4 kids, by the way. I think his daughter is named Amy, if I remember correctly. Amy Hennig. She was an indie wrestler for a while. Never hit any big league status at all. Lawler just gave him a right hook. Took Hennig down there. He was actually born in Robbinsdale, Minnesota, and unfortunately he died at the age of 44 in 2003, February 10th, 2003, just a little over a month before his 45th birthday in Brandon, Florida. Cause of death was acute drug intoxication, so he OD'd, unfortunately. A lot of people I know are fans of Mr. Perfect, Curt Hennig, whatever you want to call him. He was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2007 by former MLB player and longtime friend Wade Boggs. I completely forgot that he was good friends with Wade Boggs. Yeah, Curt was, I guess, a big ribber, so he was known for just pulling ribs on just everybody all the time. And there's Medusa choking Lawler. The referee, he was being distracted by Curt, and Medusa was just like choking away at Lawler. Now against the ropes, they're doing crisscross, and Lawler slides out of the ring. He's chasing Medusa around, and here comes Hennig coming after him. Medusa's in the ring, trying to get away from Jerry. Jerry? Curt was a one-time AWA champion, one-time AWA tag champion with Scott Hall. He held a lot of accolades. He was inducted into the George Tragos Luthez Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame in 2007. I think the same year he went into the WWE Hall of Fame. He was inducted into the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame in 2015. Pro Wrestling Illustrated, he was the most improved wrestler of the year in 87. He was ranked number 9 in the top 500 singles wrestlers of the year 1993. He was ranked 55 in the top 500 singles wrestlers of the PWI years in 2003, so that retrospective I talked about earlier. He was ranked number 98 in the top 100 tag teams of the PWI years with Scott Hall. Medusa, by the way, I talked about her a couple of weeks ago on our Women's History Month show in Japan. This was between both of those matches that I talked about, actually, if I remember the dates correctly. Because I know the first match, she had big old hair, and she was all dolled up and everything, and just very 80s looking. The second match, she chopped her hair off at the shoulders. She wore like Zubaz and some really wacky stuff, ripping up her clothes, and she was like nuts. And she cut really weird promos I was not a fan of. But there's Sunset Flip, and Hennig goes down, 2, and Hennig quickly gets out of that one, right at the 2 count. And Hennig firing away on Lawler. Lawler's hung up in the ropes, and Hennig kicks him right out of the ring, and he flops to the outside. There you go. In WWE, by the way, Hennig is a 2-time Intercontinental Champion, a 1-time Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship, Oh, he won the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship tournament in 1990. I don't remember that one. And he's in the Hall of Fame class of 2007, as I mentioned. And Wrestling Observer voted him as the most improved wrestler of 1983. So, Lawler just nesty plunged right onto the concrete, got knocked off the apron by Curt Hennig. And he just went... PWI, by the way, voted him Most Improved Wrestler of 87. The Observer voted him Most Improved Wrestler of 83. And there again, Curt sends him face first into the ring post, and he's right back into the ring, Lawler holding his face. It looks like they're basically counting on... They're either counting on we don't think you saw our last match, or they just don't care. They're like, well, this is what we do. We just kind of do the same match around the horn. And there's Curt with hooking him, bringing him in the hard way with a suplex. Coming over, hooking the leg. 1, 2, kick out by Lawler. This referee actually knows what the hell he's doing. No offense to Jackie Fargo, but yikes. And did you know that there's an actual Wikipedia page for, it says, a list of premature professional wrestling deaths? My word. Who the hell would want to read that? I guess if you're doing an article or something, but yikes. There's an abdominal stretch by Curt Hennig in the center of the ring. No funny business here, yet. Curt's keeping it clean for now. Lawler struggles and pulls over. Curt slams him down. Medusa is upset. She is beside herself. There's a punch from Curt Hennig to the midsection of Jerry the King Lawler. Did he almost look like he grabbed a foreign object? He did. He's got a shoe! And he punches Lawler in the face with Medusa's shoe. Lawler's down, going for the cover. 1, 2, hook of the leg, and no, he got the shoulder up. That wasn't even so much of a near fall. It was like 2.5, and he kicked out. And Hennig just says, F it, and he's going punch, punch. 1, 2. He's like ground and pounding, like just lambasting Lawler right in the forehead with those right hands, by the way. He's picking Lawler back up. He's going to go... Is he going to go for that pile driver that Lawler made so famous? He's got him up. He's going to do it. He's going to pile driver. Pile driver. Kick, cover 1, 2. Lawler's foot is in his whole leg is in the ropes, I should say. Over the bottom rope. Hennig's got him up. Punches him in the shoulders. Double punch in the shoulders, the traps, and Lawler goes around with a roll-up. No! Medusa's distracting the schoolboy. The dreaded schoolboy does not get it here because Medusa was distracting the referee. That would have been a 3 count. There's knees to Lawler's lower back. Medusa rips her jacket off and just throws it down in frustration. There's a hangman's neckbreaker by Curt. Cover 1, 2, kick out by Lawler again. You can tell every time he kicks out, Curt is getting more and more frustrated. Curt was a fantastic wrestler during this time, during his WWF run. By the time he got to WCW, he was pretty beaten up. There's Lawler crotching Hennig on the top. But yeah, Curt, he wasn't bad by any means. I don't think he could be bad. He was just, I don't know, he didn't have any real big spectacular matches that, he could have in WCW. He was very run down by that time, in a lot of pain. There's a double punch. Lawler and Hennig both with just right hooks on each other, right in the jaw, and they both collapse. Medusa, again, is beside herself, slapping the ring. She looks like she wants to get up in that ring and just beat up Lawler herself. And Hennig with a wild punch. No! John Cena style. But this one is into an atomic drop, not a side back suplex thing, whatever that Cena does. Oh no, he's telling Lawler, don't punch me, my crotch hurts. There's a left. Left by Lawler. Another left. And another left. Lawler tells the ref to back up, and there's a running right off the rope. Hennig's going into convulsions here. Like, please don't punch me again. I promise I'll be a good boy. And Medusa's not happy with what's going on right now, you can tell. And Lawler setting him up. It looks like he's going to the top rope. Oh, he's gonna do his big old fist drop, isn't he? He's already got the strap down, though, so he doesn't need to take that down. Going up top, showing the fist, and no, missed. He punched the mat. He punched that mat hard. He's holding his hand like he broke it. And Hennig going for the sleeper hold. The dreaded sleeper hold. Are they going to do the same finish of the last match? I sure hope not. I would get a little annoyed with that. After seeing it once, cool. Twice, like, what the hell? Especially, like, the rematch from the previous one. But he's got Lawler on his knees here. So, at this point, there's no... there's no chance of that. But this one, I think... I don't know, Medusa's a better manager than that last guy who got involved basically just to be able to get thrown out by Jackie Fargo. Fargo was a horrible referee. This one might be a better match, I'd say. Lawler's back to his feet. And he's got Curt by the hair, and he's dumping him over the top rope. He doesn't go with him, but yeah, he grabbed him by the hair and just... I've never seen someone get out of a sleeper hold that way. I'm seeing a lot of innovative counters today. Oh, he won. All right, Curt won via disqualification from getting thrown over the top rope by his hair. That is a disqualification, but he doesn't win the title. Medusa was all excited. Curt was excited for a second until he realizes, crap, I'm not the champion. So Lawler loses via disqualification. Lawler points to his temple. He's like, I'm smarter. No, he outfoxed Curt Hennig. And now we got... It's like Lee Marshall. Yeah, it's Lee Marshall at ringside here. Let's hear this disputed finish.
Curt Hennig, you got your shot. You got an opportunity to meet Jerry the King Lawler. In fact, you won the match, albeit by disqualification.
Let me tell you something right now. Each and everybody out there saw. I had the man beat. So what does he do? He throws me over the top rope and takes the easy way out. Well, let me tell you something, Lawler. You piece of garbage. What you're looking at your right hand here is the greatest wrestler in the world. And yes, it might have been one of my toughest matches. But I don't care. There's a lot of people standing in line. Wahoo McDaniel, Manny Fernandez, Baron Von Raschke, Greg Gagne, they're all standing in line. And if he thinks he's going to get away, what he just did to me, well, it's time for Cool Curt to settle back down. I got to start breaking a few knuckles. I got to start pulling a few eyes. And you know what's going to happen?
What?
Maybe I'll get suspended. Maybe I won't. But you're looking at mayhem. And every time I step into the ring, yeah, you raise the belt.
All right, well, that does it for that one. That is our second and final match of the podcast, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that one. I hope you enjoyed all the facts and everything I could throw at you. I tried to load you up this week with some good stuff about the venue, about the matches, about the guys involved. There was some good stuff from the year 1988, the summer of 1988, and over the AWA title. But next week, everybody, we are coming at you with L.A. Park. It is our first trip down to Mexico, And I'm excited about this one because I wanted to cover historic luchador. And I love L.A. Park, so he's going to be the first one I cover. Talking about him next week, I'm going to try to bring you as much information as I possibly can on Park. There's a lot. He's the original La Parka, not the one that unfortunately passed away, I want to say 2 years ago at this point, or a year and a half. I think it was about a year and a half. I could be getting that wrong. But anyway, this is the original La Parka, L.A. Park, which L.A. stands for La Autentica Park. So he's basically saying he's the real one. But after that, our next show to close out the month of April will be Harley Race on the 26th. I found some good stuff from YouTube with Harley Race. I'm going to get to. I still don't know exactly what LA Park matches we're going to watch together. I'm putting them together. I'm trying to decide what would make the best show for everybody. And I know you're going to like whatever I dig up. I know you will. But I still got to do some work and just figure it all out on my own here, what we're going to do. There's so much great stuff that I've put into my list recently to review that, it's honestly going to take a while to go through all the stuff because there's a lot, guys. But I did favorite a lot of Harley Race stuff, so that's why I don't exactly know which one we're gonna go to first. He had a lot of legendary matches, a lot of legendary feuds, so it's kind of like, oh, which one do we dive into first, But I will have more information about that probably next week. I'm sorry I didn't have the information this week about which LA Park matches we're going to watch next week together, but we'll find out soon enough, and you'll like it. I know you will. And just like you'll like the Harley Race matches. So just stay tuned. We'll talk about all of that next week and the week after. I hope you enjoyed what I brought you this week. I really tried to bring you something good, something different. Yeah, there's plenty of more Jerry the King Lawler stuff, by the way, to come up. That's coming up in the future. Oh, there's just I'm honestly looking through my list right now. Of different wrestling matches, and there's so much. Lawler versus just tons of different kinds of people. And there's a lot of Memphis wrestling matches, classic wrestling matches from Memphis that are fantastic. I might have to bring you Jerry Lawler versus Harley Race next week, but we'll see. Yeah, as much Jerry Lawler as I can cram into the schedule, I'd like to do it. But we'll talk about that all and much more next week right here on Retro Wrestling Review. And as always, remember to stay retro.